Let's just sync the audio, in case you're wondering. Hi, I'm David. I'm a retired autistic senior. The following is not a book, it's not a journal, it's not a speech. It originally was intended to be a stand-up routine, but I realized halfway through I'll never be able to remember it on stage. It's not a podcast, as I don't care who listens or how many. Plus, I've refused to edit for professionalism. Or engaging jump edits. I prefer the raw first draft. The story is 100% true, whatever that is worth. November 1st, 2024. Hi, I'm David. I'm a retired autistic senior. I'm the world's smartest and laziest man. I'm not Elon Musk. I'm not good with math. I'm people smart. I read them. Also, I'm not a workaholic like Musk. I work the least amount possible for the maximum return. Some people call that lazy. I call it efficient. He actually works 120 hours a week. I perform 1 hour a week on stage. Who's smarter? Sure, he's saving the planet with his cars, rockets, and satellites, but I'll save your mind with comedy. If you find this funny. If not, the door's at the back of the room. I'm retired, but I was forced to retire because of memory issues. Apparently it's a disability if you can't remember your friends and family. I thought it was a blessing when I forgot them. When the doctor asked if I'd like to try an experimental drug that might bring my past memories back, I said no thanks. I'm fine with forgetting them. I think that's when he started to think I was a psychopath instead of autistic. He's probably right. What I should have done is taken the pills and gone back to my old career, computer programming, but then I'd be working 40 hours a week, and most of my pay would go to the government for back taxes. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, in the opener, memory issues, forgot to mention that I owe a shit ton of taxes. That's the official amount, shit ton. That's an actual measurement in Saskatchewan. How much grain you hauling today? A couple of shit tons. I'm not good at math, but I did the math on back taxes, and even if AI doesn't ruin the field of computer programming, it would take 10 years more to pay what I owe. That seems like a lot of work when I can just write the world's funniest stand-up routine and pay off the amount in one night. If you laugh. If you're not laughing, I'm fucked. Actually, I'm not fucked. I could declare bankruptcy and walk away from the debt. It would ruin my credit rating, but that's not a problem, because it's already zero. I have no credit, so bankruptcy is not a threat to make me pay. It's a viable option. However, the only thing I like more than laughing is a good story. If I pay back all my taxes within a year of me standing on stage, or one of my stupid videos taking off on YouTube, then that's a great fucking story. End of story. So to pay back taxes, either I work my ass off for 10 years, assuming the drugs work, or write comedy for 1 year, or less. Or I declare bankruptcy and tell them to fuck off. Which would you do? If I was pretty, I'd just find an old rich lady to marry and hope she dies soon. That sounds mean, but I'm autistic. I'm too honest, according to the doctors. How the fuck can honesty be a symptom of any medical condition? How the fuck can honesty be a symptom of any mental condition, disorder, whatever? Honesty is not the problem. I clearly don't have the looks to be a gigolo. I cut my own hair. I wear clothes until they fall off my body. Plus, I look too young. Too young for a 90-year-old woman to marry. I look like her son. Good for her, but luckily I'm lazy and smart. Comedy will solve my lack of love life as well. At least one woman will listen to this and think, he's cute, or he's smart, or I'd fuck him. Look at all the millions Elon spends on his kids and wives, or whatever he calls the women he impregnates. I won't have to spend a cent. They come to the show, they fall in love with me, I go home with them, eat their food, stay at their home until they kick me out, and then go back on stage to attract the next one. Lazy and brilliant. Or, I get lucky, and the first night I meet the love of my life, and live happily ever after. That's a pretty fucking good story too. Or I bomb on stage, go on a bender, and end up living on the streets the rest of my life, doing fentanyl the rest of my life. Or I bomb on stage, go on a bender, and end up living on the streets doing fentanyl the rest of my life. Whichever. Elon has the flash and the cash, but I doubt he's a good listener. I don't imagine him having long, deep conversations with his concubines, unless it's about rockets. I, on the other hand, am functionally mute. I'm an excellent listener. I haven't had a conversation in 2 years. I'll listen to your woman problems all night long. You talk, and I'll look for material in your words, something I can use on stage to further my career. Don't worry, I won't say anything personal like, your armpit hair is so long that I could braid it. So to summarize, I'm disabled, autistic, broke, and can't dress myself. A perfect catch. Disabled, so you know I won't go anywhere. Autistic, so you know I'm honest. I literally can't lie, and everything I've said so far is 100% true. I'm broke, but I don't need much to live on. A few pizza pops and some beer. Plus, I'm funnier when I drink, not meaner like most men. I can't dress myself, but I don't care what I wear. Buy me whatever you think I'll look good in, and I'll wear it, unless it looks gay. I'm not an idiot. I'm not an idiot. I did the math on my current attractiveness. The only way my lifestyle is attractive to another person is comedy. Put all this information in Tinder, and even if I look like Brad Pitt, I wouldn't get a swipe. I'm not lazy, this is just a better way. Actually, call me lazy. Call me a fool. The more ridiculous the story becomes, the greater the chance for success. I'm lazy, but I'm lucky. I was forced to live on disability due to memory issues. Did I mention I can't remember shit about the past? I knew it'd be nearly impossible to find a place in Vancouver. Then, like a miracle, I found a room to rent in a house full of international students. I lied and said I was a student, but to be fair, I was planning on returning to school, if I could. Currently on my floor, I share a kitchen and 2 washrooms with 3 female students in their 20s. I'm lucky because all of them remind me of my daughter, both in age and ethnicity. Or both in age and race. Or age and color. Also, I treat them like my daughter. I only talk to them when I needed. I treat them like my daughter. I only talk to them when needed. I say hi to them when I run into one of them in the hallway, but there's no long conversations. Everyone seems to mind their own business. I hear them talking and laughing in the kitchen, but I don't join in the conversation. Again, like when a teenage daughter has friends over, you have to stick around the house so they don't bring over teenage boys, but otherwise you try and give them some privacy. The housemates are all pretty, but again, like my daughter's friends, I try not to notice. The only thing I do notice and don't like is the long black hair in the bathrooms. On their head it's pretty, but stuck to the walls of the shower, it's not. The drain is disgusting. I've learned not to look at my feet while I shower. I try and shove it down the drain with my big toe, but I start gagging. I'm glad I only had 1 daughter. 3 would have been a hair nightmare. To be fair, that's not completely true. One of the two showers gets pretty bad, but the one I use has been good for months. The girl that uses it doesn't seem to shed as much, and I can get it down the drain before heaving. Sorry for the landlord when that pipe backs up. He'll probably be able to save the hair and donate to cancer victims. I hope they wash it first. I pee in that shower. I'm not going to say my housemates' names for two reasons. One, to protect their privacy with this comedy gold crushes somewhere. Two, because I can't pronounce any of their last names. Two, because I can't pronounce any of their names, first or last. I can spell them as I see their mail on the kitchen table, but I can't pronounce any. They all introduced themselves to me the day they arrived, but the names are too difficult for my mouth to pronounce or my brain to remember. Instead, I have nicknames that I use in my head. The smoker, the nurse, and this one sounds bad, but Petri dish, which is close to how her name is spelled, so I think it fits. It's not about her cleanliness habits. In fact, Petri dish is the one who sheds the least. The smoker scares me, not on purpose, but we both walk quietly, and too many times I'm either leaving the house for a smoke, or she's coming in after one, and we accidentally scare each other coming around a corner. We both laugh, but I'm considering asking her to wear a bell. I'm not sure my heart can take too many more surprises. I would wear the bell myself, but I'm already strange enough as it is. The nurse is the friendliest. I broke my hand last year, and she's the only one who asked me how. The other two didn't care. Or I guess she probably told them. She asked if I needed any help with anything, but the only problem I was having was wiping my ass and showering. However, I remembered my golden rule. If I wouldn't ask my daughter, I shouldn't ask her. Oh, and I didn't ask her for help. I kept my mouth shut like I normally do around them. I do have a backup plan for taxes if this so-called comedy fails. Counter-terrorism. I'll explain. I figured at least one of my other housemates, not the ones that live on my floor, but at least one of the other so-called students, is probably a spy for their home country. My plan is to catch them and collect a reward so large it pays my back taxes and sets me up with a nest egg. I can always tell when new students move in. The Wi-Fi sucks for a few days. I think they're watching porn 24/7. Then they get it out of their system and the Wi-Fi goes back to normal. Shitty internet. I have no proof. It's a simple deduction as I notice the Pornhub homepage looks all different, like someone new is influencing the house feed. To each their own. I'm not into BBW, but someone from another country sure is interested. Now, if the entire feed was old white guys hooking up with international students, and I knew I wasn't the one searching for that, there'd be a different story. It's not. Trust me, I check the page once a day, just to be sure. And no, I don't search for international students. I'm not interested. You'll find out why shortly. To be fair, it's not just porn. We all got a notice about someone downloading GTA 5 from BitTorrents. I have respect for the game, but there are way better ways to steal games than torrents. Maybe I should give new housemates a lesson in VPNs. Use promotional code KillTony if you sign up for ExpressVPN. Old comedians and old rich dudes are the only guys getting women in their 20s. And Elon, but he doesn't count. Sorry, I should say successful comedians who are probably rich too, but I think they prefer to be called a successful comedian over an old rich dude. I love irony. Now that I'm 60, I'm surrounded by way more 20-something girls than I ever was back in my 20s. Back then, if you didn't work with them or go to school, they didn't seem to exist. Bars were the only place to meet them. And although I'm funny drunk, eventually I'd have to sober up and be myself. Now I live with 3. In addition, I can go to any coffee shop during the day, and again, every barista is 20 something, hot, and exotic looking. Where the fuck were the Starbucks in the 80s? I would have either gotten a job there and hit on all of them, or spent my paychecks watching them work and trying to worm my way into their existence by sitting there daily and looking cute, or like a pathetic puppy, whichever would cause them to take me home, or scratch my belly. I'm easy. Said now, I just look like a perverted old man living with students and drooling over any barista that is nice to me. It's hard not to look like a pervert if you're old and alone. I try and go to the park and write, but it's noisy. Fucking kids. At least I don't look like a pervert there. I stay on the other side of the park, sitting on a bench tucked between a couple of trees, with a telephoto lens hidden in my gym bag. Just kidding. Samsung 24 has a great zoom. No long lens needed. And I unfortunately can't lie. I have a Samsung 7. Technically I have two, so it's like a 14 if I glue them together. That's an autism joke, in case you haven't figured that out yet. In truth, I can tell which guys at the park are perverts, and which are just lonely like me. Ear hair. When they sit beside me, I check it real quick. If it's long and out of control, like mine, then I know they're safe. If it's neatly trimmed, then he probably has a wife at home who takes care of it. Either way, not a pervert. To be fair, you can see where I'm going with this joke, so I'm going to abort it. I do go to the park quite a bit in the summer to watch the kids. I'm not perverted because I avoid the end of the park, with the waiting pool and playground. It's nothing but kids falling off monkey bars, or screaming at the top of their lungs like it's the first time they've touched water. I hang out by the ball diamonds where parents picnic and let their kids run free like dogs. I like watching the kids push themselves chasing a soccer ball until they fall face first into the grass. Then I laugh. I need to stop making jokes about kids. No matter what after 5. It sounds perverted. I'll go back to jokes about my pretty international housemates and how they have pillow fights every night because... Try that again. I'll go back to jokes about my pretty international housemates and how they have pillow fights every night while scantily clad because the air conditioner is broken again. That last statement isn't true. In fact, I like it cold, not hot in the house. They don't wear anything scantily. They wear sweaters and sweats, and I leave the AC on all the time. But one of them turns it off at night when I'm asleep. See, I can't lie. The following stereotype is true, though. People from other countries cook weird shit. I don't mind. I can't smell. My nostrils are blown out from years of coke. Not true. Adderall, yes. Cocaine, no. Either way, their food choices makes the recycling bin way more interesting to check out when I make a deposit. I do have a complaint about one of them. I'm not sure which one. I'm too shy to say anything about it. And I kind of find it funny now. Like when the smoker scares the crap out of me. The recycling bin is near the door to my room. And that's it, right? Recycling bin is near the door to my room. I and 2 other girls gently place articles in the bin, while the final girl thinks she's in the WNBA and throwing a 3-pointer at the buzzer, who throws a can from 10 feet away, and rebounds it off my wall like a backboard. And I can't even figure out which of the 3 does it, because it normally happens during my afternoon nap, and I'm too lazy to get up and say something. If I catch her in the act one day, I'll find something funny or sarcastic to say to get my point across, just like I used to with my daughter. Trust me, the daughter golden rule is all you need to manage or attract women, especially if you're lazy. Now on to the racist jokes. Some of you may have heard about a Trump rally where comedian Tony Hinchcliffe told a great joke about Puerto Rico and the mainstream press had a conniption fit. The outrage drove his popularity even higher. Maybe it'll work for me. Remember the dream to pay my taxes? about being a comedian? One set to change a lifetime, mine. Yours too if you think this shit is funny, not just desperate and pathetic. I can't be a complete racist because I don't know what countries my housemates come from, but I would say anywhere in any part of whatever you consider Asia, and then some of the other brown areas of the world. Is that racist enough? I mean, there are 3 rice cooks on the counter. Can't they share one big one? And symbolic melting pot, so to speak? Maybe after I pay off my taxes, I'll buy the house one big-ass cooker and unlimited rice. On one condition. No rice maggots. What are rice maggots? Glad you asked. This is mostly a condition that affects white people, or people like me. Weird. Rice maggots are pieces of cooked or uncooked rice found on the floor or in the sink, or any place you would rather not see a maggot. Because for a split second, when my brain sees a random grain of rice on the ground, it says maggot to me. Then I remembered the odds of maggots are much lower than rice, and I clue myself in. I wouldn't be a Nazi about it. Here's free rice, but please keep the rice maggots under control. Is Nazi racist? I really need to get cancelled before I even start stand-up. There's no fucking way I'll remember the set. I don't even want to say it again. Maybe it'll be a fentanyl end of story. I wish one of my housemates was Puerto Rican, but would they be international? What is Puerto Rico? It's not a state, but it's American? American isn't international enough for me, especially if you're from a territory. Hell, I barely respect Alaska as a state. Plus, Canadians were dumb as fuck for not outbidding the US in that deal of a lifetime, buying Alaska. The whole concept is a second thought. Either make Puerto Rico a state, or cut it free and let it flow away like a big fat garbage patch. See, I know Tony was right to make that joke. It feels great to call things garbage patches. My hair is a garbage patch. My clothes are garbage patches. I'm a fucking garbage patch person. Hi, I'm David. I'm a retired autistic garbage senior with a plan to change my life through comedy and making fun of everything and everyone in my life, now and forever. I call myself autistic, a retired autistic senior, but really I'm the retired autistic senior. It's not like there's a group of us, a club that meets monthly. I don't know many retired autistics, and I don't know many autistic seniors. Maybe I just want to be unique. When I got diagnosed with autism, I disagreed. I wrote a 200-page summary as to why the doctors were wrong. I don't think I'm autistic. I think I'm either lazy, or stupid, or both. Or a fucking genius. In my current living situation, I surrounded 320... In my current living situation, I'm surrounded by 3 20-something hot female international students. Yet, I fell for a hot barista instead. And I'm dumb. I don't even use the 3 girls that surround me daily to practice on the barista that I'm actually interested in. That's not autism. That's just stupid. Or stupidity. On the other hand, since I've had the same 3 roommates for almost a year now, it'd be creepy as fuck if all of a sudden I start to pretend hit on them for practice. I don't know if one comedy set can change the world, but sure could change one man's world. If this set goes viral, everything changes. If it doesn't, I just wake up the next day and do it all over again. It's a great benefit of having shitty memory. You can't remember how bad you did the day before. Perfect for a comedian. Especially since I'll never watch or listen to this in my entire fucking life. I think it's absolutely the number 1 requirement of becoming the world's greatest comedian. No memory. If you want to be good, forget about the past day and your past life. Anyway, back to my living situation. I don't any of my housemates see me as a father figure. Probably just some weirdo who eats pizza pops 5 times a week. I know they see my recycling bin contributions. I see theirs. The only thing I know, based on the recycling bin, is when it's quote unquote that time of the month. Yes, all three of them are synced up in their monthly cycle. I don't know how they did it, but they all seem to get a check from their parents in the same time of the month. And on that day, the recycling bin goes from ramen packages to takeout containers. Which, to be fair, is the same for me. When I get my old age security check, I go from pizza pops to frozen pizza with extra cheese. Living the life while retired. I don't set a very good example, a good parenting example. I sleep in till noon, lucky if I have a shower before 3, and I'm out till from 4 to midnight. I come back smelling like cigarettes and beer, or cigarettes and coffee. This is more erratic than the strange uncle behavior. I might be an uncle. I can't remember. I don't set a good example for anyone. Plus, I've done a shitty job in this story of explaining the barista. I guess I have 5 20-something girls in my life. My daughter, my 3 housemates, and a barista I have a crush on. I call her the barista, because I also don't know her name, well, her last name. I know her first name, but I'm too shy to say it on stage. It's like bad luck, and she'll never appear to me again if I do. I doubt I'll ever be with the barista, but it's a good story. The concept got me out of a depressing thought, being alone the rest of my life, and never getting laid. I'm 60 years old, but I'm not dead. Little Dave works just fine. In fact, we plan on having children again, if the barista plays along. The barista is probably half my age. I know nothing about her other than her looks and interactions with customers, co-workers. Half my age is odd, but not as bad as half my height. That would be odd if she was waist high and equally proportioned. However, she's twice my height. I'd be okay with that. Sex with the giant would be interesting with me. Probably be boring for her, or pedophile-ish. I'm also twice as ugly as her, although that comparison really doesn't work if she's not ugly. So I'll say her beauty is twice my ugliness. I'm twice as fat, not twice as sad, although I might be twice as sad as well, I don't know. I know I said I'm the world's smartest man, and I probably am, but she's the world's smartest person. She's probably twice as smart as I am, which would make her the world's smartest person, world's smartest woman, and the world's smartest person. But I'll remain the world's smartest man. Why do I know she's this smart? I'll explain. Yes, I said I was shy. Thanks for sticking around this deep into a comedy routine. Before I developed an undeniable and never-ending crush on the barista, I used her. I used her as a character in a script. A smart woman. Pretty, but out of place. I noticed one day that she remembered my coffee selection. It wasn't difficult, but she basically read it out to me before I tried to order. From that moment forward, she often, not always, sorted my coffee order for me as I walked into Starbucks. If I was in line, it would be ready and waiting for me by the time I made it to the cashier. And although she was acting like the app, if I had ordered online, I didn't mistake this as her having an interest in me. I simply noticed it as a potential character for one of my scripts. So I kept track. I sat close to the till, and anytime she remembered someone's order, I made a note in my notebook with a description of the person. There's nearly 100 orders that she knew off by heart, and the one that broke the camel's back, so to speak, came through the door. Actually, before that, and before I would call her my crush, I did think to myself, somebody that can remember that many orders surely can remember to submit my taxes every year. She'd be a perfect wife. And she's young, hot, and pretty. Can't go wrong. Sorry, but I, or the pervert inside me, threw a joke in there. Storytelling mode can get a bit boring, even for me, the storyteller. Anyway, the character in my notebook and the real barista were nearly 100 memorized orders and a gaggle of women came in one day. It wasn't busy. The cashier was in the bathroom, and the barista was making a drive-thru order. Then the barista noticed the cashier was taking some time to return and asked one of the ladies, "Should I start your usual order?" And then she repeated a long, convoluted coffee order back to the lady. Shocked, the lady said yes, and then turned to her friends and exclaimed, "I guess I have a usual." Overhearing the lady, the barista added, "I remember, normally you come in with your students. They all talk about you being a great teacher." The teacher replied, "My students?" To which the barista replied, "Yes, your students." And then something stopped in my head, and the crush turned into lust, pure evil sexual attraction, and I knew I would do whatever it takes to bed this so-called barista. Or, I sent her manager a complimentary email about her excellent customer service and kindness, and then I found everything I could about her and asked her out on a date, even though she's at least half my age and probably assumes I'm near homeless based on my clothes and broken laptop, but by some miracle she says yes. Or I ghosted her, never went back to that Starbucks, even though it was the perfect distance from my house and the most comfortable seats. And I haven't seen her for a year, but I spent the entire time expanding the character into the perfect theoretical wife, while simultaneously working on becoming a stand-up comedian, so I can walk back into that Starbucks and not feel like a complete loser when I ask her out. Or I ask her coworkers if she's single, or if I just hand her everything I've written and walk out the door and hope she doesn't call the police. Or she does call the police, but then I'll know her last name when she testifies in court. Or I'll give you a second to guess what a retired autistic senior would do or did do. Correct, I haven't seen her for a year. And no, I didn't stalk her. At least those are the two questions I would ask if I was listening to this story. And I definitely wouldn't be calling the police, as this could be satire and not a true story at all. Wink, wink. Is everyone clear now? If you laughed so far, I'm well on my way to making this the world's greatest routine, or whatever it is, and solving not only my financial issues, but my love life as well. Or if you didn't laugh, I get it. You hate love. I've been there. Maybe the rest of this love story isn't for you. It's clear I've given up on making it a routine. I don't care. I'll be forced to read this on stage from a book because I can never memorize half this shit. Funny to me or not. Hilarious or not. Sorry, I guess my phone can only record half hour at a time, so the video no longer lines up with the audio. I don't give a fuck. You probably can't see my mouth anyways, who really cares? Do another sound. There, I'll sync it up just for you losers that need the lips to match the sound. If I was Elon, I'd just walk up to the barista and say, "Hey, I'm Elon Musk. I'm rich, successful, and make beautiful, intelligent babies. Unfortunately, I'm busy saving the world, so you be the primary caregiver, but you and the kids will be set for life, even if all my businesses failed. So are you interested?" And then he'd get a yes or a no and walk away. Hell, if I could get pregnant, I'd give him a yes. I'm not that lucky. I have to prove my love to her by writing silly comedy stories and standing on stage embarrassing. I'm not that lucky. I have to prove my love to her by writing silly comedy stories and standing on stage embarrassing myself until I'm one of those successful comedians. And then I have to return to that Starbucks again, pray she still works there, and risk embarrassing. Try that again. Then I have to return to that Starbucks again, pray she still works there, and risk embarrassing myself again if I find she does. If is now married, that would suck. Suck as bad as that whole fucking paragraph. Although married or boyfriend, I'd wait it out. If married until they have kids, then I'd give up. But boyfriend is a different story. Fair game if there's no ring on the finger. In that case, I'd just make sure one of my videos or a few 100,000 words of mine found a way into her phone. I just have to be funnier than the boyfriend. And since I'm the world's greatest comedian, it's a shoe-in. Okay, I'm clearly delusional. I really should just go back and see if she's working tomorrow. And if she is, I'll just sit outside all day reading this routine to myself or anyone who will listen, or until someone calls the cops. Both will probably happen on the same day. The first day someone hears this type of humor in public, it may butthurt them. Either way, fuck Elon. I'm building my hair in my own way, one at a time. The barista gets to refuse me first, but she should consider an honor either way. I mean, she'll be jealous as shit when I bring my second pick into Starbucks daily. She's basically sitting on my lap the entire time. Nah, that sounds mean. I'll just ghost her again, come back yearly to see if she's available. Maybe I'll find out her birthday at one of the trials and use that as the anniversary date. A bit creepy, but easy to remember. Now you know why I don't hit on my housemates. I spend all day writing about the perfect life, about the perfect wife and life. I feel like cheating on the character. Sorry, I mean the barista, who is a character and a person. They just haven't met each other yet. It gets confusing, which is why it was easier just to ghost her. And she's hot, so there must be a boyfriend or girlfriend anyways. So this story is really more of a writing exercise at this point than a crush or love. Or not, who the fuck knows. Back to my living situation. I hope there's some more jokes or anything funnier than me being a desperate loser with a crazy plan to seduce the barista. I don't hear noise in the hallway coming out of my housemates' rooms, except laughter or loud movie. I assume the noise leaving my room is the same for them when I watch a movie or cry myself to sleep or fart. I'm kidding, of course. I don't cry myself to sleep. I pass out. That's a lie. I'm a 60-year-old man. 60-year-old men don't cry. We build up all our pent-up frustration, take it out in anger, just like every man, regardless of age. And we do fart. A lot. Loudly. Or I guess proudly. I pay $660 a month rent, the perfect amount to charge the devil. It didn't start out that amount. It was $600 with the minimum increases applied yearly. It's now $666. I don't mind. Every month I pretend I'm the devil and it's blood money. I have an overactive imagination. Why else would I try and seduce a stranger half my age with comedy? Without even talking to her. Either I'm nuts or I'm brilliant. The DSM-5 says I'm nuts. I say comedic genius. My room is pretty noisy if the window is closed. My room is pretty noisy if the window is open. Closed, it's fine, but the room gets stuffy. Remember, farts. If you can't tell, the window's open right now. If you hear the background noise. Luckily, you can't smell the farts. Open at night is fine. Earplugs take care of the noise, but during the day I'm screwed. It's too noisy, which is what forced me into the arms of my barista in the first place. On a less love story note, sorry, the fridge started up too, so now we get full noise. On a less love story note, basically the only time I can write from home in a relaxed environment is if someone dies. Let me explain before you call the cops. I live beside a transit station. Trains come every come and go every 2 to 5 minutes throughout the day. And I'm beside the on-off ramp to Busy Bridge. The only time I get a break is if someone throws himself in front of a train or off the bridge. Then for an hour or so, the trains stop while they clean up the mess, or the traffic stops as they try and talk the person down from the ledge. Either way, I get a decent break from the noise. I know what you're thinking, and I agree. Suicide is a bad thing, even though it is legal in Canada. I'm not in any way suggesting more people kill themselves. I'd rather have everyone alive and well, but if they're going to do it anyway, and nobody's going to stop them, why not use the bridge close to my house? And then, like in San Francisco, they could put up some nets or something to catch them, or whatever they've done there. They'll still fuck up the traffic for a while, giving me a break, and eventually it'll lower the number of suicides when people can get to know they'll get help on my bridge. Brilliant plan, yes? Not psychopathic at all? Sure, maybe a bit selfish and autistic, but according to DSM-5, that is who I am. I cannot change my personality, ever. I'm not sure what to do about the train suicides yet, but I'm working on it. They are a lot messier to clean up than a body floating in the river. Maybe they could just slow the fucking train down a bit before it arrives at the station. 2 extra seconds make that much of a difference. Less noise for me when they're arriving slow, and if someone jumps in front, they'll just get shoved down the track a bit, or bumped over, not hurt. Unless they electrocute themselves, then they're fucked. Nothing I can do about electricity. That humor's too dark for you. I don't care. Snow works well too. Enough it will close the road and station, but this is Vancouver. Snow is rare. I can understand why international students would prefer Vancouver over Toronto or any other cold city. I wear this hoodie, and only this hoodie, unless it's below zero. They put on winter coats the moment the first tree changes color. I'm not nosy, I'm just observant. Blame the autism, not snoopiness. The 2 houses beside me are also full of international students. I can't confirm for sure, but the makeup of the tenants are the same. I watch them coming and going when I smoke in the backyard. I'm determined to find the spy, or at least have the data ready for the government when they interview everyone in the house about Mohammed next door. I thought one day I had him. I noticed a pattern of one of the neighbors who comes home, sits in his vehicle for 10 minutes. I assumed uploading data to a foreign server via a sat phone before it goes into the house to his girlfriend or wife. I'm not sure which she is, but if he sits out there too long, she comes out and gives him a look, at which point he reluctantly leaves the comfort of his truck. Then I realize he's probably not a terrorist. He's probably listening to his favorite playlist, the one she hates, just preparing himself for home life like any other new Canadian. On a different note, Trump won the election thanks to Elon, which means a bunch of things for the world. More specifically, Elon will continue with his plan to repopulate the Earth single-handedly, and now he'll have a line of women waiting to be impregnated. I think I made a mistake taking the comedic approach and focusing on one woman. I'm clearly not the world's smartest man. I should have stuck with computer programming, or got a job in AI. However, I'm still the world's most determined man. Either the barista will be my wife, or I'll continue to write these stories about her until I die a long, lonely death in my room. My housemates are forced to call the authorities because of the odor, greater than the farts. I'm kidding, of course. I always keep my window open, so it'll probably take until the end of the month, and after having paid my $666 in rent for anything to happen. Then the landlord would start pounding on my door, get impatient, opening it thinking I've skipped town. Then he and his housemates would see my rotting corpse. The girls would lose their minds. The landlord thinks, that mattress is fucked. But the bed frame's probably okay. And then finally this will go viral when they realize my webcam has been on the entire time while my body is decomposing live. It's a joke. I can't afford a webcam until I go viral, and I can't go viral without dying and stinking up a room. In the joke, not in real life. As I said before, I wouldn't do that to my daughter, so I wouldn't do that to my housemates. I realize this is more pathetic than funny, but the truth hurts until it doesn't. November 11th, 2024. Hi, I'm David. I'm a retired autistic senior. Today is November 11th, Remembrance Day. As a comedian, it's my job to create a joke about Remembrance Day. The only I can find is about the poppies. I think they need to use a bobby pin instead of that straight pin for poppies. The pins are a pain in the ass and poke you several times a day. We need bobby poppies. Get rid of the straight pin. The end. Meow. "46 minutes.